Hello and welcome back to the Music NFT podcast. We have two very, very special IPs in the room. Jai, our long lost cousin, has returned.
Hey,
welcome back to the podcast,
I'm
Jai.
back. Sorry for leaving for a bit, guys, but I'm back. Thanks for holding it down, boys. And yeah, it's good to be back.
I was confused when I heard your voice come across the podcast, and I'm glad to have you back, mate. We've said many a joke about whether we thought you were going to come back or not, but you're here, surprise to us all, but we love it.
Well, the numbers will start skyrocketing again, hey? So let's get going.
And our special guest tonight is Acutek, techno producer, Web3 mastermind. He joined the Project DJ Discord probably about 6 to 12 months ago.
A few months ago.
And we've been chatting to him inside that group for a little bit, watching his releases. And then he just decided that, yep, I'm serious enough now that I want to come and have a chat and I want to talk about what I've been up to and plug myself a little bit. So here he is. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here. Excited to have a chat about music and NFTs.
That's what we love. Do you want to give the listeners, obviously, a little bit about you, a little bit about what you've been up to?
Yep, for sure. Well, I'm Acutek. My name's Duncan. I'm a DJ producer from Scotland. I've been releasing music sort of since 2017, but producing for years prior to that, and started getting involved in Web3 towards the tail end of the start of 2022, and started releasing my music in Web3 round about September. Started off with a kind of free mint on OpenSea. I kind of make techno music and run my own record label, and wanted to just start with a free EP just to put it out on OpenSea while I tried to get my head around all the different tools and how to do it. And yeah, enjoying releasing music. It's good fun. Put a bit more excitement back into releasing music again, which is good.
It's you've That's definitely cool. picked the right method. I think we've said about 100 times. It's like you've just got to mint. Like if you can just get that first initial one done, it kind of gets you over that hump. And then watching you, I mean, you've progressed slowly. I think you had a recent release on Sound as well.
Yeah, I'm up to 4 tracks. I'm on my 4th track on Sound at the moment, and in the process of dropping an EP. So it's like the follow-on from my initial EP that I put out. But I'm going all out with this campaign. It's probably the most ambitious EP release that I've done to date. Different kind of parameters and different things that are happening. So it's good to get it out there across Web 2 and sort of Web 3. So it's excited for it. It should be in the thick of it at the moment. The first track went up on Tuesday on Sound, and I'm going to drop a track a week. One I'm going to upload on Sunday, I think, for a drop on Tuesday, and then another drop, I think, again on the Tuesday. So kind of trying to do them weekly up towards the sort of Web3 release. So it's good fun. It's been about 2 years in the making because there's vinyl as well. So with press and plant delays, it's taken a long time. I've had this project and idea rumbling about in my head for probably over 2 years now. So it's good to try and get to that stage to start putting music out there again.
Take us back to like the start of like you coming into Web3. Like what was kind of your thoughts on the space when you first started, kind of like specifically more to like music and what you were seeing in the space and what you felt when you were coming into it?
Well, I first started hearing about NFTs and Web3 music in, I think it was May 2021. I seen an article from Mixmag that had published saying that the blockchain was going to revolutionize the music industry. And I was actually on a business mentorship program at the time, and I couldn't get my head around what it was or how to even how it worked. You know, I had no idea. I kept that idea in the back of my head, thinking, "Oh, this seems really interesting." That idea of new technology and trying to a different way to engage with fans and distribute music. That was what kind of drew me in. It's and it kind of bubbled about in my head for months until I started kind of getting more involved, started to understand MetaMask a little bit more, got involved in some communities and understood just more about what actually to do, because it was even things like transferring ETH from one wallet to MetaMask and like little things like that, that I've kind of learned about.
Very
these
scary.
Kind of
those
that
first couple
initial,
of transactions.
Yeah, definitely sitting nervous as anything, just trying to figure out what to do. Even like learn how to transfer from like Coinbase to MetaMask, or I was buying it directly on MetaMask, which there's even higher fees on that. I didn't really know. I was just kind of learning as I went. But yeah, it's good to feel a lot more comfortable with everything that I'm kind of doing now, which is good. It's good fun.
So it took you like a full year basically to get, I suppose you get over that green period and then into like, okay, yeah, no, I can definitely do this.
Yeah, I was kind of in some. I couldn't figure out the kind of applications to music, or how to really do it. I didn't know a lot of the platforms were curated. I wasn't really in there yet, so I wasn't sure. I wasn't at that stage to be in there, so I wasn't sure what to do. I started getting involved in the kind of PFP communities and I kind of learned more that side of it. That's just getting used to the space in general. And then I just always had music in the back of my head, thinking, right, how am I going to do this? I kind of want to progress into this area, and how can I actually like implement it all? So took a few steps, but it probably was about a year until I got kind of comfortable enough to get into it all.
What was the catalyst moment?
I think dropping that free EP on OpenSea, it was like, right, because I remember I put the EP out across Beatport and Spotify and everything, and I was sitting up in the Beatport charts, and I just sat on my couch one day. I wanted to do like different rarities, so I had like the lead track was a one of one, 13 editions of one track, and then 14 of the other. But I made them all with one of one artwork, and I sat there for ages uploading them. I didn't realize how much work it was to upload individually to OpenSea, and then I had to go and list them all individually. And I remember listing them, just putting 0 ETH, put them on, and I remember doing that. And then I started popping it in a few Discords, and then I came back and they were all gone. I was like, how's that happened? Like, I've only just listed them 10 minutes ago and they're all sold. And it's like, I couldn't understand what it's actually. I thought, have I done something wrong here? Or like, it was like, no, actually, somebody's just came in and wiped the floor with them all and swept them. So that was like, I kind of had that aha moment, like, this actually worked. I thought, am I going to have these up for months? But it went quick, which is good. And then I kind of thought, well, this worked. There's actually an appetite for people to collect this kind of music in Web3. Because I see so much. I don't see too much techno, to be honest. There's a lot of kind of more sort of commercialized, commercial side of things from like EDM and garage, that kind of thing. A lot of hip hop, a lot of rap. But I wasn't seeing too much techno, so I was a bit skeptical. I was like, well, is there going to be an appetite for this kind of thing? So it was good just to see that there was, and people enjoyed it enough to collect, which is good. And now the holders of my initial mint, that EP went to number 1 in Beatport, so they hold an NFT that's been number 1 in Beatport. So trying to kind of deliver that value back to the holders as well, which is good.
Very cool. Have you spoken to the collectors? Have you checked in with them? Are they still around, big supporters of you?
Yeah. I've got a kind of Telegram collector chat, and some of them are in there. I think there was 14 people. I think everyone seemed to go in and buy 2, collected 2 kind of thing. So I've got some of them in my kind of collector chat and in my Discord and things. So they're still up to speed with what I'm doing and things, which is always good. I want to kind of build that community around my music and develop relationships with everyone. So
yeah, dope. I like the idea of the free mint to begin with, but what happened when you went to that next mint, when you actually were starting to charge for these NFTs? Is that what happened? You went straight into one that
Yep.
was, you know, something you were charging for, and sort of what price point did you go with, and how did you figure all that out? Because I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, that next step of, all right, I know we can do the free mint. Everyone talks about doing a free mint. What do you do then? Like, you know, how do you get your previous you know, purchases to come on board with the new mint, and sort of what was your strategy that you sort of went with then for that next mint?
Yeah, well, for my kind of process, I'd kind of thought, so I'd applied to Sound, for example, a couple of times throughout the year prior to that, and I kind of just said not yet, which was cool. But then I started thinking about why that was, and I didn't really have any evidence really of me releasing music in Web3. So I thought, well, if I start with a free mint, it kind of demonstrates that there is people wanting to collect there. So my next stage after that was, okay, I'm going to go. Yeah, and I wanted to go to catalog, because I really liked the idea of catalog. It was just after they announced their sort of curator phase as well, the very first cycle, and I thought, okay, I'm going to submit to be an artist and also to be a curator on the platform. And I never got into the curator, but they accept me as an artist. So I thought, great, this is cool, because I used the free mint as evidence. So this is kind of what I've been up to. I've got 14 holders. I'd really like to release on your platform, and I got an email back, and they said yes, no problem. So that was really good, getting onto there. I'd been in the Discord for probably months prior to this as well, just kind of engaging and getting to know people in the space, trying to figure out who's who and things. So names were kind of familiar. And I always remember, so it was the first EP I ever put out in my label, was Onyx EP. It was very, very first vinyl. That was quite a kind of key release for me. And I thought, well, that's what I'm going to drop on catalog as my initial sort of drop. And I remember looking at price points across the platform, trying to figure out like what are other people kind of pricing at, just to kind of do a little bit of research. And most of it seemed to be about 0.1 for a 1 of 1 NFT. I thought, well, that's fine. I'll just do that, because that seems to be what everyone else is kind of pricing at. And I uploaded the 3 songs. Just had an image of like press shots for me of the artwork. And I think within an hour, I uploaded it. I was upstairs in my studio, and I came down the stairs to sit, watch a bit of TV with my girlfriend. Like, I've kind of done my job, so I've got that up. I can kind of relax now. And then I got an email from Catalog saying your record's sold. I thought, I only uploaded that like an hour ago. What's happening here? This is crazy.
Again, the same thought pattern from when you did OpenSea. You're like, what's gone wrong here? Have I done something wrong?
Yeah, and it's like, what's going on? Like, I got really excited and thought, what's happening here? And then about an hour or 2 after that, I had another one. I thought, right, something's going on here. This is 2 out of 3 in an hour. So I'd made 0.2. I thought, this is crazy. I didn't expect people to collect. So I went on it down the rabbit hole and started trying to find them on Twitter, and started like messaging them and just saying thank you, really, and get to know them. And then I woke up the next morning and the third one had gone. I thought, this is crazy. There's not even up 24 hours, and
I'm a genius.
All 3 have been collected. So I thought, this is great. I don't know if there was an element of, because in the spec I'd said this is part of like a number 1 Beatport release, because I've had 2 number 1s in a row on the Web2 side of things, and I didn't know if that was an element of it, because of some of the blurb I put in. But they all found a home quite quick, which was good. So yeah, that was quite a good first experience with just actually putting a paid mint out, and it kind of cemented that idea in my head that actually people do value this and do want to collect this type of music, because they've gone so quick. So that kind of doubts in my head that I initially had, when I was like, that was almost holding me back a certain bit, it kind of just, that they were kind of started to fade out a little bit. I think, no, I can actually do this, and there is worth me doing, kind of putting music out in this fashion, which was good.
Yeah, especially the fandom, like commending exactly. You've done everything right, really. Let's be honest. Like the free mint, and then your next mint is only 3 NFTs as well. So you're not really trying to, a lot of other musicians I've known have done that initial one and then immediately gone to like 1,000 or hundreds. And you've just gone, no, 3. So like remaining humble, I think, is a great point to take from that. you know, especially early in the game, it's like, okay, yep, cool, I was surprised, and then you still were surprised again for the second time, and had those initial sales. And you, as you said, you actually had something to back it up as well. Like you were already a chart member of Beatport, which is, you know, no small task really. Yeah, congrats, man.
Thank you. Oh, it's been good fun, and I kind of thought, okay, I actually sat down before I even pressed those to catalog. I sat down because I had a bit of back catalog, and I thought, okay, this is back catalog. I'm going to do this with catalog. So I kind of set out a plan and put things in my calendar. Like, I'm going to drop this then, this then, this then, this then, and then I put them up. That first one went super quick, and I thought, hang on a minute, maybe I need to think of these a little bit quicker, and I got really excited. I just wanted to get music out there that had previously been released, but it kind of just extends the life of it. You know, it puts it into somewhere different that people might not have heard it before. You know, especially.
Does it feel different to like release music as NFTs in Web3 compared to Web2? Like, I feel like, you know, and I could be completely wrong here as someone who's not a producer or putting music out, but it seems to me that like the notion of like releasing a song on Spotify, Beatport seems like very official. And Web3 is kind of like, I don't know, there's a bit more fun, it's a bit more casual, it's a bit more like happy-go-lucky. I just want to release the music and let people who want to collect it and enjoy it do that. Whereas like I feel like Web2 is like very official and formal. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've found releasing Web3 music in Web3 a lot more fun and definitely a lot more enjoyable. Like there's a different kind of buzz about it in a sense. You know, it's put music out on Spotify, and like if I look at a Spotify for Artists app, I can see there's people listening now, but I don't know who they are. They could be anywhere in the world, but that person bought my NFT, and within minutes, I can find their Twitter and I can send them a message and say thank you. And you know, there's that kind of like social connection that's more present there. This really isn't even on Beatport. I don't know. I can look at my demographics on my distributor and tell what country they're from, but there's no way to actually tell who these people are. And you know, things like there's so many music industry norms, I think, in Web2 that like you've got to release monthly on Spotify, or there needs to be like 6-week lead campaigns, and you need to pitch to here, you need to pitch to there, you need to fill in this, you need premieres. There's so much, and so much work that goes involved in it as well. And I'm not taking anything away from it, either side of it, but the element of just uploading a song on catalog, for example, and somebody likes it and somebody collects it, and that's now theirs. You know, that element just seemed to hit more boxes for me. You know, just a bit more enjoyable and exciting as well. You know, getting that email that this is so like, yes, somebody enjoys it enough to want that to be part of their collection, which is cool.
It feels like a really like just the way you're speaking about it now, it feels like a really full circle moment for music, I suppose, is Web3. Like we left CDs and all that kind of stuff behind, where you could, I suppose, I mean, even then we didn't really have, I suppose, CDs really left in like 2000. So you really still wouldn't have known the buyer. Like it was difficult to understand who your purchaser was, except like Sanity probably knew who the purchaser was, but everyone else, they the same thing. Like the information was still being gatekept. So I think, you know, the process looks the same as 23 years ago, but it's like now it's, as you said, the information goes to the artist more so than, you know, the big overarching company that's like, rah, you can't touch our information. When really it's better that the artist has it, because the artist can be more successful with that information more so than the label or the, you know, the people selling the music, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. I'm using tools like I'm using Bello quite a lot for analyzing contract data. So I'll pull together after each drop, I'll pull together all the wallet addresses that's collected, put them into my Bello search, and that gives me times, dates, on when like I potentially drop, when's the wallets that are collecting my NFTs are most active, and little things like that certainly help. And
what's it called again?
Bello.lol.
Yeah. It's what's the name that runs the other main Mint, isn't it? Mint podcast.
Mint, Adam Levy.
Yeah, Adam Levy.
So been using that quite a lot, and that's handy for just pulling together data, and that's the kind of thing that we don't have really in Web 2. I can't
at all,
unless I run Facebook ads and go into the nitty gritty of like the demographics of
who's doing it, register their email address.
yeah, that kind of thing, so it's there's a lot of tools there as well that can help, and a lot of data that can be analyzed to help a career, and a release strategy, and so there's a lot of data points that can be pulled from it, which could be really useful too.
Do you have any plans for maybe sort of releasing stuff that's not just your own music in Web3? Is this something, with the label that you're running, you're looking to sort of maybe get some other artists who you have on the label, or are you looking to
Jai's trying to plug himself
bring
in.
that? I don't make techno.
No,
but is that something you're looking to in the future, to bring other artists in and sort of create almost like a network and hub of artists through your label that are releasing NFTs?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that I've been thinking about a lot. It's just myself on the label at the moment. I'm on my third release at the moment, so I'm taking it quite slow. I'm conscious of not overloading releases and want to give each release time to breathe.
Yep.
But it is something that I want to do down the line, and maybe not necessarily Web3 native people as well, like people that maybe are interested or have or want to learn more, to be able to help people learn as well. So maybe they have a little bit of interest but don't know how. So all these lessons learned that I had in the beginning, I can help people get to that stage as well, and be a bit more comfortable with releasing music. So I think everything that I put out now probably is going to be Web3 and Web2. It's just another strand to kind of release strategy. I think all music deserves to be on chain, so it's good to continue with that, and hopefully there is a couple of things in the kind of pipeline where somebody's going to be doing a remix for me, and that's going to be that'll be on chain as well. So it's good to help develop that side of things as well, because I think it's only going to keep going, and more music's going to be minted and collected, and the more people that are kind of up to speed with it and learn a bit more, I think it can only be a positive thing for the space in general.
Sorry, I just had to write down that quote: all music deserves to be on chain.
That's literally, I was doing the exact same thing then.
That's timeless.
That's a great quote.
Thank you very much for that.
Obviously, I don't want to go into super specifics or anything, but we also talk about Web3 being a great way for musicians to make more money through their career, through their passion. What kind of I guess what's your thoughts on that? What's been your experience? Obviously you've gone number one on Beatport, which not every artist can say they've done that. So I guess what's your experience with that in making money off your music through Web3 as opposed to Web2?
Yeah, I think there's definitely, for context, I've number one Beatport release, say 50,000-60,000 streams in a year, and I've made more off that 3 catalog sales than I did in a whole year's worth of streaming, and the amount of advertising revenue that I spent to get that as well, that streams to try and trigger the Spotify algorithms to get it, there is a lot more there. I mean, Spotify's, you'll know yourselves, it's pennies, and even Beatport are taking 60%, I think, off the pound. So there's not much. Even if you were getting Beatport number ones consistently, day in, day out, maybe there would be enough to sustain a living, but it's just not sustainable, really. Whereas with the blockchain and cryptocurrency, there is a little bit more potential there to make a living off of it. There is, of course, the kind of implications of selling the cryptocurrency and the additional tax and things like that are on there that have to be kind of factored in. I've got an accountant that deals with that for me, so yeah.
Yes.
I just went through the same thing. I was like, what do I do with all this? I don't know what's happened. All the money being transferred in between different wallets. And he's like, what are you doing with all this stuff? I'm like, just moving money around. Sorry.
Just like, and I mean, it's an important thing. I mean, I had before I even dropped that first EP as a free mint, I had a conversation with my accountant and say, look, I'm going to be doing this. What do I need to watch out for? I didn't want to get 6 months down the line and realize, oops, I shouldn't have done this, or I should have done that, or, just to try and, I probably overanalyze too much, and I just wanted to know what I was going to, full scale, what I was getting myself into before I started going down.
Duncan, I reckon you've done everything the correct way. I think you've just followed the right path in everything. I don't think you've made a wrong choice so far.
Your overanalyzation is good.
You're the perfect example.
I do think about things a lot. Case in point, I've been thinking about this release for the last 2 years, overanalyzing everything, but it's good fun. That's the main thing.
I suppose an interesting question then, like leading off from that statement, is what are maybe some things that you've done wrong, or mistakes you've made, or things you would have done better from some of your releases? That could be an interesting point. If there's anything maybe promotion wise or anything like that that you sort of mucked up a bit, or love to hear any sort of learnings you've had, I suppose.
That's a good point. I like to kind of experiment quite a lot with different marketing techniques, strategies to try and get music. So I'm kind of still learning, to be honest. I'm trying to think if there's anything. I tried Twitter ads to promote a link that was on my Genesis drop, but I don't know how that went. I spent a bit of money on it. I think I only put like £50 or something, a tenner a day for 5 days. It wasn't a huge spend. But because there's no way to track if that actually worked or not, it's difficult to know. So it's like, I would say don't, organic is definitely the way to go. Don't put a load of money into advertising because it's quite difficult to measure. Does that actually work? I was targeting Germany, and I got somebody to collect from Germany. So whether that was correlated or not, I don't know. That could have just been coincidence. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we've had a bit of experience with paid advertising, and it's like I just think the negativity towards crypto and NFTs in general, kind of I suppose harpoons or lampoons the what you're trying to actually get done, like immediately there's no middle ground of like people just letting, normal ad you let slide, but an ad you hate, you immediately comment on or like report or do anything. So it's kind of, you're in that middle ground of like your ad's either going to get fucking totaled by people just hating it, or you might actually hit the right people. But it's like difficult to, because I don't think, having been in the space now, 3 years, you can't identify what a collector looks like still, besides there's like a little tweak maybe where tech, an interest in tech is kind of the only thing, but then people being interested in tech is anyone. So it's difficult to, I suppose, create an audience, because that's like the biggest thing with social media advertising is you want to create an audience full of people that look like, look a like audience of people that would buy an NFT. But to pinpoint who that is, there's no age group, there's no learnings, there's no, level of schooling, there's no, what certain food that people that collect NFTs like, that there's just none of that, because it just hasn't been around long enough for anyone to understand anything. So yeah, it is. No. I can highly say it was difficult using social media advertising to try and sell or, market anything to do with NFTs in general.
Yeah, definitely. I tried, I done an open edition before open editions were a thing. I done that one December. I left it open for a month kind of thing.
Flex. The OG.
That was on Zora. I think I kind of wanted to, after I'd done a few one of ones, I wanted to try like a kind of collection, just to see how it went. And I tried some Facebook ads and Instagram ads on that, but yeah, it didn't really get much targeting, even to the stage that I went to the marketing team at Facebook, because there wasn't really anything to actually set in the targeting, because they've banned targeting cryptocurrency and people that like even Discord and things like that. You couldn't even target that. So it was, but they said, no, basically we can't help you. Like, okay, well, I'll just go on Twitter next time that I'm going to target them then. I want to tweet something. I just like, okay, thanks, but That'll do me.
Yeah, it's not. Are you not an e-com business? Okay, fantastic. Go away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what's
your experience been like on Twitter? Were you a big Twitter user before Web3? And I guess how have you been going with like building a community, interacting with people on Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter. I'll hold my hands up. Twitter was probably the least used social media platform before I got into Web3.
All of us.
It had the kind of my least amount of following. I would kind of copy paste posts. I kind of focus on Instagram and Facebook, and I would schedule a lot of stuff, especially from in the middle of a release campaign, and then just copy paste over to Twitter. But I didn't spend a huge amount of time, and now I'd say it's probably my most used platform. So it's totally flipped it on its head. I suppose one thing that I did lessons learned actually, kind of going back to the Twitter thing, is on my second drop on Sound, I want to try like a giveaway and just try and grow a community, do a little bit, get a bit more hype around it. So I was speaking to somebody who does some kind of alpha calls in some PFP groups. So I done a super full raffle where somebody could win an NFT of mine. But my naivety probably caught me out here, as I didn't put enough parameters to be able to enter the raffle. And I think I got kind of bot spammed, because it ended up like number 2 trending on Superfull across the whole site. It just went a little bit mental. I was like, what have I done? I had all these people following me, and I was looking at the account, and I just had to start blocking people, because it's like, that's clearly just a bot. And I had people in my Discord that were it was just like numbers and letters. It wasn't even a profile. It's like, no, what have I done here? And then I had to put more parameters on it to try and debot.
There you go. There's the mistake we're looking for.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah, that's something that I was like, oh, maybe shouldn't have done that. And if I was going to do something like that again, I'd certainly put more stringent entry requirements to be able to actually enter the raffle, even if it's just like 0.01 in a wallet or something like that, because it just got a bit out of hand. But I think there is still a lot of people that follow me that were genuine, that do have kind of interest. So there is a good side to it, but that's definitely something I've learned. But yeah, I spend more time on Twitter than anything now. Twitter and Telegram probably, and all the different chats and Discord. You mentioned out of hand sometimes, just with. Sorry.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier about you set up that Telegram group for collectors and stuff. So I'm interested to hear, like, is there anything else that you've been using or doing to sort of foster and build that community of collectors? Have you got your Discord up and stuff like that, or what things have you been doing to really sort of get that community together?
Yeah, so I started the Discord last year. I think it was on the run up to releasing I knew I was kind of going to release a free EP, so I wanted to start a Discord and create a little bit of community. So I had some people in there, and off the back of that free EP, I started speaking to a lot of collectors, and maybe they didn't able to collect it, but I still started speaking to them and just asking kind of questions, what would they want to see. And one of my biggest supporters had said, oh no, I think everyone's really on Telegram, nobody's really using Discord anymore from a kind of collector standpoint. So I thought, okay, I'll start a Telegram, and started that, and that's kind of seemed to be what most people were doing in the kind of artist space and collectors, and just try to speak to people and see. I quite often ask for feedback. I quite like a poll. I probably do too many polls. Just asking what do people think, and I really value everyone's opinion that's supporting me, whether they're a collector or not. There's things thinking about at the moment, about like putting out another EP, and I've got 2 of the 3 songs that I know I want to put out, and I've got another 2 songs that I'm kind of on the fence about, and I'm thinking I'm just going to put that in my collector chat and say, well, what do you guys want to hear? What do you want to hear? And really getting people involved in my choices, my career. What am I doing? What do I want to do? And letting people be part of that as well, I think.
Gives you like this committee, I suppose, that like when you're a solo artist, it gives you just that board members that you're like, that you would normally go to in a business, but instead they're just mates in the chat.
yeah, it's really good to get that kind of honest feedback. And like I say, I value everyone's opinion, and sometimes if I am on the fence about it, like, well, do I release this track or do I release that track? I think, well, maybe I could ask the 30 people that's in this chat, what do you think? And maybe there's a clear winner. It's like, no, that track. I'm like, well, actually, that's probably the one that I should put out, and maybe just forget about the other one. So it's interesting to get that kind of feedback. I've kind of struggled with Discord a bit more because I don't know if it's back to that mistake that I potentially made with the kind of giveaway, but I'm not getting a huge amount of engagement in the Discord. But I've recently added a bot, which is like a music sharing bot. So I'm trying to experiment a little bit with the moment that if people share songs, they earn something called MXP, and then I can put a shop, and then they can buy whitelists. So I'm kind of experimenting with that a little bit at the moment, just as a way to encourage people to share. Let's just share music that we like and talk about it. And
it's a great idea.
And there's benefit from them at the end of the day. If they can do that, raise a ticket, send me the wallet address, and I'll upload that as part of an allow list. So starting to kind of think along that lines, how can I just make it fun for everyone? I don't want it to be a chat where it's like, I've got a new drop, I've got a new drop, I've got a new drop. I kind of want to create a little bit of conversation, and create some enjoyment for people to want to be there, But that's going to be a constant evolution, I suppose, over the next few years, and see how I can kind of grow it. And yeah, as long as people are enjoying the music, that's the main thing for me.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it. And you're doing most of this stuff like all by yourself. Like, I know you said you've got a designer that you use for artwork and stuff. But like, it's all the stuff, you've learnt yourself. You don't have any management or anyone sort of helping you with this. No. I think that's, important for people to know that, because a lot of people think, oh, I need help, I need a team, I need a developer, or I need someone to help me with this. But I think it's, hearing from someone like yourself that you've just been in it, figured it out, and sort of just run with it. That's important for people to hear, because I think sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming, just how much there is and how many different directions you can go with things. So yeah, it's really good to hear someone doing it themselves, and just making it all happen by themselves. So hats off to you.
I suppose that kind of leads to a question as well. How do you, because this is something we talk about a lot on the podcast as well, is like organization of your time. It's like, for you being a solo producer, you've got your own record label, you're doing your own NFT drops, you're learning Web3 while still, as you said, managing the whirlwind of Web2 and the 6 weeks releases and Beatport and all that kind of stuff. Do you have a day job, number one?
I do, yeah. I work full time.
Yeah, and then how do you organize your time around that? Yeah,
it's difficult, to be honest. I'm constantly working. Like, I'll work.
I feel that
8 to 4 every day. I'll go and walk my dog. I'll come home, make dinner, have dinner with the family, and then I'm back to work again. I sit in the studio in my kind of room that I'm in now. I'm emailing, pitching for premieres or features or this, and sometimes sitting making music. I tend to try music work on the weekend, because I kind of try and do admin, promotion, and it depends what's happening. I mean, at the moment I'm in kind of full promo mode, where I'm emailing constantly, and I've got setting this up, setting that up, making sure I've got a little kind of schedule next to me of each day, what I have to do and what I have to post, and trying to like make sure. I think it's just being prepared and getting stuck into it, but it can get tiring sometimes. I'm sitting still at kind of 10, half 10 at night, when I've got to be up for work the next morning, and I'm still sitting doing this or emailing that. And I think it's just trying to prioritize. I mean, everyone's human. There does get to a point where it's like, yeah, I'm knackered. I need to stop at like 8, 9 o'clock and just give myself a little bit of rest, and then I'm back to it the next day. Probably drink far too much coffee as well, but
don't we all?
Keeps me going. Yeah. It's just trying to balance everything really, and prioritize what I need to be doing at that point. I mean, I've not switched Ableton switched it on a week ago, but that's building a sample pack you know, I wasn't even really creating. And I recently moved house, so my whole life got flipped upside down. I'm in a different studio. I'm still not used to my room. I've only just put up the foam in the last, on the weekend past, so it's still different. So hopefully once this kind of EP's out, I'll be back to kind of creative mode in a sense. I'll kind of back to writing and mixing and things.
Yeah, it's kind of like you can't be everything all at once, I suppose. What you're trying to say is like you partition your life. It's like, okay, well, I've just gotten all that music together. I can't continue to promote the music and create more music at the same time. Otherwise I might die. So it's like you just got to make sure. Yeah. Like, do you, for the weekends as well, like, I suppose this is a question for myself more than anything, is with having a family and the weekends, how do you juggle that? Like, do you have you committed a certain time during the weekends that's like, hey guys, this is when I work on the weekends on my passion, and then I'm with the family, or do you just juggle it as you go?
I generally juggle as I go. It depends what's happening. I mean, there might be plans to go and see family somewhere, or we're going away for a weekend, or we're doing this. Quite often, like a Saturday morning will be like my time to create. Maybe my girlfriend goes to gym, and I'll sit in the studio, and I've kind of got 2 hours that I'll just sit and write, and then I'll come back. She'll come back. Look, I've written a new song. Come and have a listen to this kind of thing. Or just kind of as I go, really, just to see how it goes. But quite often I try and creative on the weekend if I can.
Fit it in where you can.
Yeah.
Cool. Is it anyone else have anything else? I think that's like we've covered everything. It's been great.
One last thing, Duncan, is like, I mean, yeah, it's been great chatting with you. And, you know, as we've been saying, you know, you've kind of done everything right in the sense of you've dipped your toe in, you've researched, you've community built, you've dropped, you've done all these things that we kind of preach. So it's really cool to like hear someone actually doing it and being successful while doing it, which is really, really cool.
Thank you.
If you kind of like, I guess, had anything to say to, you know, an artist who's thinking about dipping their toe in, wanting to learn more, what would you recommend? Any words of wisdom from you?
Yeah, I think don't overthink it and get stuck in. You know, speak to people. You know, my DMs are always open. I'm happy to answer questions at all times. You know, I think just getting involved. It's figure out where you want to do it. You know, there's a lot of kind of no-code platforms and things out there. There's a lot of platforms that aren't curated as well. You can just drop like Zora, for example, or Manifold, these places where they're no code, and just get music out there. And you know, join Twitter Spaces, jump into Discords, and just start speaking to people. I think is probably the best way to learn. I think nobody really learned anything by not getting involved, so it's good to kind of just get stuck in. Really, that's definitely. I wish I got stuck in earlier. You know, it's that, but we can always sit back and think what ifs or what should I have done. But I think it's just focusing on how to move forward is the most important, and keep things going.
Awesome.
It's been great chatting with you, man. We really appreciate you coming on the podcast. We'll make sure to leave Duncan's socials in the show notes. You can go check him out. Send him messages if you're keen to get stuck in. Buy that EP. Collect his music. Thank you, Duncan. Thanks everyone for listening. Make sure to rate, review, like and subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one. Catch ya.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
See you guys.